Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We're again going to start off today's video with a look at the Dow chart. This past week was another one of those markets that just frustrates you as a speculative trader because you continue to see the indices make all-time highs, even though it's on the backs of a handful of stocks. And you look at the rest of the market, and it's just simply dead. No real volume, no real follow through. And you keep questioning, what am I doing wrong? You're not really doing anything wrong. This is what happens after we have the kind of mania that we had from November through February. When the party stops, it takes a while for things to get cleaned up. But from my experience, over the last many years. The longer these slow periods last, the better the action ends up being. So, with that in mind, let's look here at the Dow chart and another new high. And you're going, what the heck is going on out there? And essentially, as I've been saying, it's been a handful of stocks. The economy is reopening, etc., etc. Here's Home Depot from March. Home Depot has gone up essentially 40% in the last 2 months. Here is United Healthcare. United Healthcare has gone from 319 to 415 in the exact same period. We've got McDonald's. I mean, you can see the time frame here, early March all the way up here. Another, big move. These stocks like Home Depot and United Healthcare are two of the top five weightings of the Dow, 6 and 7%. McDonald's offhand, I think, is about 4%. So when you see these kind of movements, the money has to come from somewhere else. And, as I've alluded to in past videos, when we exited January into February, there was a day where there were no stocks under $1. The speculative money was flowing and everything was moving. Right now, we're seeing a lot of charts reset. Now, I will say, when we look at the small cap ETF charts right now, this is the Russell 2K. It's the larger cap of the small caps. You can see we are in an uptrend. We just haven't broken out yet. We also look at the micro cap index, which looks really nice. It is getting close to a potential triangle breakout here. It's in an uptrend still and getting ready to break out. So the signs are there for a wake up in the kinds of stocks that I trade. Keep in mind, you're seeing a lot of headlines out there about sell in May and go away. The same kind of articles were out this time last year, and May was a fantastic month in the market last year. Now, as we know, just because something happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but that is charting. That's why we use charts. That's why we use our notes. That's why we keep notes on the kind of action. You should be keeping notes daily on what kind of action you're seeing in the market. It was a dead market today. Low floats tried to move. Small caps were dead. Boring stocks were moving. Once you start building those notes, I'm telling you, after you've been doing it for a lot of years, you're going to be able to look back on periods like this and go, big deal. I can relax. I can go play golf. I can do a couple of trades because I know after this kind of action, things are going to be very nice. And that's the way I look at what we're setting up. Now, the chart that I have been using as the barometer for the speculativeness in the market, of course, as you know, is AI. And just looking at AI's chart over the last week, that pretty much sums up the kind of market that we were in over the last few days. It looked like it was finally going to break out a week or so ago, and red every single day. All the way down, made a new low, of course, because that's what the robots do in this type of market. They make new lows before they turn these stocks up. Now, the 50-day is at 73. That is right at the breakout. That's the level we've been looking at, a breakout. Looking at this stock, I may perhaps pick up or add to my swing on AI early this week with a 55 stop. That's what I'm looking at because I'm being optimistic. I am, at least, that we're going to see some action return to stocks. But as I've been saying since February, my stance has been high cash, half positions. When stocks move, I'm going to take some money off the table. Just going into this week, when I was reviewing my swing account before I did this video, I believe this is the highest cash percentage I've had since last year, pre-pandemic. Usually when I get to that kind of stance, I'm being very cautious as I have been, but it also tends to signal to me, get that ammo ready. There could be some good movement here very, very soon. So I'm optimistic going into this week. Not a whole lot of stocks for us to look at. Quick mention on Tesla. Tesla's actually setting up okay. Musk was on Saturday Night Live. Looks set up here. Options have passed. We've got a nice setup here. This will be another indication if the speculative money is coming back looking at this stock. ACST finally, after what, 6-7 months, they finally announced the merger news that we all speculated was coming. And the stock, after getting hammered in the days prior, ended up popping up to the 60s, 50% gain. But a lot of guys wanted more. Now remember, in a market like this, you take the gains when they're handed to you. That's what I do. If I told you on Thursday at 39 cents that the next day you would be able to sell ACST at 60 cents, most of you would be saying, hell yeah, woohoo, fantastic. But when that happens, most of you go, well, I'm only going to make a small gain here. My average is 65, 70 cents. Why would I do that? That is the question that I always ask myself when I'm deciding if I'm going to sell a news play in pre-market. It's worked for me over the years, and that's why I use it. So we finally got one of our news plays to pop out news. We're still waiting for UNIM, all that good research underlying this stock. Forbes had an article out on Friday claiming that anti-money is the precious metal no one is talking about yet. These are the only guys that can process this stuff. Chart gigantic triangle here that's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. 50-day moving average is at 112. That would be the first level I'd be looking for, and then a move to 140. ITP, same thing. It's been months we've been waiting for that FDA approval news. The 50-day and 200-day moving average are at 63 cents. That would be the freedom zone on the chart, depending on how they write this press release. So maybe this week we'll start seeing some of these companies put out press. Now, another one of those stocks I haven't mentioned in a couple of weeks, VISL. The reason I bring up VISL, this is one of these stocks I picked as one of my 2021 best upside potential stocks. And, back in February, this had all the makings of going to 10. Now, I still believe that this is a woefully undervalued stock, especially when compared to peers. That's usually what I like to do. If I see a peer that is trading at a substantially higher market cap with low or no revenues like UAVS, and I look at something like VIZL that is growing, has their fingers in a lot of different satellite space pots, and I look at its market cap being 1/3. Yeah, this stock had a nice move 2 weeks ago up to 305, and we're right back down now to this 200-day moving average. 200-day is at 223. This time around, this should hold up as a very, very strong support level. The last few days, it's actually been bouncing off that level. This is just an update. These long-term plays take a long time to develop. So this one I just wanted to mention. It's possibly at a nice little bounce level here. MLND. This is a new quotation mark ATM swing play. This is one of these stocks. Actually, they're flying along on their merger. The vote is going to be towards the end of June. And as you recall, these guys, as of the last report, $38 million in cash, trading at $19 million approximately, 50%, 40%, 50% under its cash value. These are the kinds of stocks I've loved to swing over the years I've been trading. They tend to do very well. Now, that doesn't mean they're always going to do well. As we've known, and I'll go at the end of this video, anything can happen. There is no certainty when trading stocks or the market. But this is a merger play. It's coiling here nicely between about 106.7 area and 124. So that 120s is going to be the freedom spot on this chart going forward. Aehr, the chip issue continues to get bigger and bigger press. These guys make the test equipment for chippies, but it's still sitting down here in the basement. What stock is moving? The stock that moved big last week was LEDS. that in their reports said they are actually a victim of there being no chips for their LED lights. You know, usually it's this kind of stuff that moves and not the actual real plays. The real plays eventually move, but the mega speculative stuff goes first, then it usually spreads out. MOSY is another one. This is another real play, but for some reason it just can't break out of this area. Now it's sitting right at the bottom of its trading channel. This is a stock I view as I've got a small swing position in it, and I'm going to day trade the moves depending on what the other peers do. And the reason I'm doing that is the way it's trading just doesn't feel right to me. So I'm okay. I'll be mad if this stock goes, which is why I have a small swing position and I wake up and it has big news. But likewise, the way it's trading reminds me a lot of FAMI a couple of weeks ago. So that's why I would take a day trade focus on this one and have my small swing in it as well. Last stock I want to go about or talk about is KIQ. K-I-Q. Started getting some infrastructure talk on Friday with them saying they want to get something done here in the summer. This has been beaten up in the small cap sell-off. Now, the stock, of course, that if you're going to be looking at trading KIQ, you have to watch what happens on rail. Now, rail's gone on a huge move. This is the other railroad small cap stocks, while KIQ has done the opposite here. So this is just another example of how out of attention the small stocks have been right now. All action or all eyes has probably been on crypto, and we get a little bit of a crypto sell-off. You might start to see that movement move back into these stocks. Last stock I want to mention is Job. Job had the perfect jobs report on Friday. It was less than expected. There's lots of jobs, but no one looking for them. Businesses are hunting, looking, paying bonuses for new applicants to their jobs. That's what these guys do. So what happened on that news on Friday? The stock sold off. So yep, this one sold off on its news, and LEDS ran 400% when it doesn't even have chips. So that's the kind of market you deal with. And as I continue to say, just because something happened in the past with stocks doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. Anything can happen, so always keep that in mind. Nothing is a certainty in stocks. But going into this week, don't have a whole lot of stocks on focus other than the ones we're waiting on news and these range plays. I'm going to take it day by day and hour by hour. But based on the setups we're seeing on some of the charts out there, we could start to see some nice movement back into the speculative side of the market. So have an awesome Mother's Day, everyone, and see you all in the chat room tomorrow. Bye.